My name is Raymond Karchevsky. I am a living Christ. Today I'm going to pose the question to each and every one of you. What is God? Not who is God, but what is God? You see, that word, that three-letter word, has ruled mankind since the beginning of time. It is a word that represents something, but it's not God. You understand? Words are merely a means of symbols to use in communication from one person to another. Note that I use the word person. I use the word person because you've been trained, at least here in the Western culture, in the United States, to designate that, which is really a living man or a woman. But we don't call each other man or woman, we call them persons. Why? It's a word that has been indoctrinated into us by government. And actually what it means is it's a corporate entity, a legalistic, dead individual. Not a living man, it's a dead person, like a dead corporation. It's not living either. But what power it rules in the world of persons. People who have been indoctrinated out of their life force, their money, symbol of life force. They are ruled by the extraction of that life force. Because they're dead. You're dead. You're the living dead. You're a living dead person. You want proof of that? Pull out your birth certificate. Understand? It's a piece of paper, a document. What power does that piece of paper have over you? You're the living man. You were born into this world. A living entity. And right after that, out comes the government to seduce your mother into signing your life away to them by signing an application for a birth certificate, creating a living, dead person. Has your name on it, but that name is spelled in all capital letters. It's not you. Do you understand? You're a living man. Your autograph is capital first words, first letter rather, followed by lowercase letters, both in your first, middle, and last name. That's a living person, a living man. But the person is spelled in all capital letters. That's not you. You, if your mother signed that application, she sold you to the corporation which declared you a person. That corporation, that government now owns you. They have jurisdiction over you, over your life, over your actions. And they are qualified to then rule you through laws that they create for persons. They have jurisdiction over other persons, but they have no jurisdiction over living men and women. Now, how does one survive that ordeal? The sad fact is you don't. Until you can reach the majority by man's rules, by Satan's rules, when you can then rescind that personage and return to your rightful state of a living man or a woman, a sovereign, beyond the jurisdiction of the satanic civil government. But not many people will do that. They have long been indoctrinated by groupthink, by being sent to state schools, and private schools for that matter. They're all satanic. Why do I say satanic? Because they're all based in intellectual, divisive thought, where you believe in concepts, you believe in words, ideas. And that's where history comes in. That's where legends come in. That's where myths arise. Fairy tales when you're a young child, and you call them myths when you become an adult. But nothing has changed. You're still addicted to words. The Bible begins. In the beginning, there was the Word. You grasp that, but you don't understand what that means. That was the beginning of satanic mind control, when you began to worship false gods. Words. Understand? Now, I began this talk simply about what is God. I'm going to get to it right now. God is truth. God is what is. God is the totality of all that is beyond time and space. It's beyond intellectual cogitation, which limits everything to some things, words, ideas, concepts. And that becomes your world. It's a world of illusion, because God is beyond that. God is beyond time and space. He is all there is, has been, and shall be. Truth. God is unchanging. Here's the kicker. You are God. You don't worship strange gods. You are God. Why do I say that? Because you are the creator of your own life. And you are responsible for the quality of that life. No one else. But you have been trained into a divisive intellect. Duality. You can then split everything into the you and the not you. And you blame the not yous in your world for the quality of your life. If you're poor, you blame someone, the rich. You see? If you're rich, there's no one to blame for that, but you enjoy the perks of being rich, while the poor suffer. And why are you rich? There are many reasons for that, but the main reason is exploitation, living off the life energy of the poor, the hard-working poor who work from morning till night, and then you tax them out of that money. What is tax? Consensual robbery. You work hard, and you are paid with money. The symbol of your energy for that hard day's work. And what happens to it? It's extracted from you involuntarily. Oh, they indicate it's voluntary. It's by consent because you sign your signature on the line. When you do that, you make a contract. Who is that contract made with? Satan. All contracts are satanic because they are in the realm of duality. Truth exists only in the realm of non-duality because it is the what is. There is no opposite to truth. There is nothing to argue about truth. Truth is what is. Truth is God. And if you are in your subconscious mind, your non-dualistic mind, you are that God. Yet you have been trained to believe in God. That's when you know you're in your dualistic, intellectual mind, the mind of illusion, fantasy. And that's a civilized world that all believers live in. If you're an American, you're living in the land of belief. If you're a Russian, you're living in the land of belief. If you're Chinese, you're living in the land of belief. If you're Hindu, Jew, Muslim, you're living in the land of belief. You've been programmed to be, to call yourselves those things and to live by the rules of the institutions which rule such communities. I say communities because it's groupthink. You go along to get along, but while you do that, you find yourself in conflict with others who have different beliefs, and that belief is exploited by those who control you, your leaders, and you're separate from them also. And they represent the rules, the laws, the beliefs that you hold, and they demand that you defend them with your life if necessary. And then you have wars, and you kill each other. That's the nature of civilized life. Hell, isn't it? Oh, you haven't questioned it. You're afraid to question it. You're afraid to ask the questions. But why are you afraid? After all, you're the God of your own life. You're the creator of your own life. You create that life by your actions. Why are you ashamed of those actions? Because you're split. You're in doubt. You fear. You don't want to make mistakes. Mistakes occur only in the dualistic intellect, which is a satanically trained instrument mind, the conscious mind, the confused mind. You're all in hell. You're all worshiping the god of hell, Satan, because you're all split. You're all at odds with each other. You argue, you debate, you look for power by the manipulation of words. And you're inundated with the reports of those words by the media, who covers the world events. But what are they talking about in these world events? They're talking about the confusion that exists amongst those who are supposed to be wise, to be understanding, your leaders. But what have those leaders brought you? Have they brought you freedom? Have they brought you sovereignty? Do you feel free? I guarantee you that you do not feel free. You may feel the idea that you hold, that you believe in, and call that freedom, but that's not freedom. Freedom is the absolute oneness of being. the oneness with truth, with love, with cooperation, all of which these things are non-dualistic. They are the traits of God itself. There's no contradiction, for contradiction is nothing more than sin, and you're born into it. Sin is based in thought, the contradiction of the opposites of thought that must be reconciled before one can act clearly. But how many of you live and act clearly? How many of you are capable of acting clearly? How many of you understand, are at one with, resonate with the truth that you are God, because you create the quality of your life and your life only? How many of you will stand publicly and say, I am a free, sovereign man, and no satanic man's law has any jurisdiction over this living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural man? But Christ will. I have backed down the Satanist judges who hold court in adjudicating satanic man's law. I backed them down. How many of you can do that? You see, if I can do that, and I have done that, and it's a matter of public record in the Satanic Oregon courts, where they have adjudicated, they have admitted that they have no jurisdiction over this living man, and so released him after sentencing him to crimes that threatened a 40-year prison sentence. Understand? Oh, they quibbled. They changed their tactics in order to save face, but ultimately they had to release me with no charges whatsoever. And yet, the records keeping of the government still continue to have the false information written down in their books. That's fraud. That's a crime. But who do you get in satanic law and satanic governments to investigate such crimes committed by those institutions themselves? What you have is a cover-up. And I have experienced that for 17 years. And I have brought that openly on the internet and shared it with you, while you twist and turn with the tyrannies that unfold every day, fueling your anguish, fueling your confusion. Yet you don't have the courage to stand up alone as a living man, as a living woman, and challenge the satanic jurisdiction over you. You see, if you did that, you would be a Christ. You would be experiencing the second coming of Christ consciousness. It has always been within you. But it has been subjugated by satanic mind control hypnotic suggestion in your schools, in your governments, in your religions, based on belief. You've all been restricted to slavery, to believers, one step away from truth. You can't believe truth. You understand truth because that's what is. And if you're at one with truth, you're resonating in a state of non-dualism. You are truth. That's the nature of a God. And if you have attained that, you've attained Christhood. You return to your proper estate as God, the creator of your life. That's what you are missing. You're all missing that. You're believers. You're grovelers. You prostrate yourself at the feet of your masters, which are illusions. Boy, you're dumb. How does that make you feel? You're hurt. If what I said to you didn't hurt your feelings, then you would know that I am speaking a falsehood. But when I say that you are dumb, you feel that hurt, because what I have said to you is true, and you're in conflict with that truth. That's the hurt that you are feeling. And damn near all of you who reject this living Christ and his words are hurt. Your feelings are hurt by him, because you're dumb to live the way you're living. You can change that instantly. Instantly. Why do I say that? Because you're God. You can change your life because you are the creator of your life. And so, if you don't doubt yourself, you're not persuaded by slick-talking hucksters, criminals, who will swindle you out of your life's energy wholeheartedly by creating a system of taxation and tithing. And you must pay them with your life energy in the form of money in order to belong. And there's no end to how that taxation and tithing is escalated. Donations, government contests, elections, they're all based on milking you of every last dollar you have by contributions. Make no mistake about it. You live in a dualistic world, a world of illusion. And it requires that you support that world of illusion with money, your energy. And the more energy you give, the weaker you become. And you die. But that's an illusion too. Because that which is temporary, partial, has a beginning, has an end, is based in time, is always an illusion. Truth is forever. It is eternal. You are eternal, beyond time and space. Why? Because you're God. You're not praying to a God, which is dualistic, which has reduced you into a slave who must believe and act according to those beliefs and pray to God, that's just an extra step in control of you. Because ultimately, you must act. That's what a God is. God is you. Get that through your skulls. Your limited, intellectual, hard-headed skulls. You've been swindled by people who manipulate you through language. Call them leaders. That's how dumb you are. You are the God of your life. Yet you allow others to tell you how to live your life. Oh, you cover it with words. Citizens, believers. Here's a word for you that encompasses those two words. It's called slave. That's who you truly are when you contract with Satan. You give up your life, your spiritual life, and you live in hell. I just told you the truth. What the hell are you going to do about it?